Hello everybody, how's it going today? Glowplasma 231 here, back in day with my good old co-host, Jaden.
Dragging me back into this.
I am. It's been a while since I've had you on the channel. I think it was the beginning of this year whenever we talked about the Lord of the Rings animated movie, I think.
Was it the beginning of this year?
I think it was.
Okay, then yeah.
Or somewhere around there.
So,
and
almost a year.
Yeah, of course, as you can see from the title of this video, today we are talking about the Chainsaw Man movie, the Reze arc, which, I'm gonna be real, I think is a terrible name for a movie arc. Is like, calling the movie Chainsaw Man Reze, like, why could you call it like Chainsaw Man Explosion or something else like that? I think it puts too much focus on Reze.
It also spoils from the beginning what her deal is.
A little bit.
Yeah.
And that's, I mean, I'm not a fan of these anime films in general. I think Demon Slayer Mugen Train was a phenomenon that showed the anime industry we can make so much money off of doing all of this. But either way, me and Jaden covered the Chainsaw Man anime as it was coming out a long time ago. We just sat in my school parking lot. We pretty much went to his house because we had a free period, drove there, watched the episode, recorded a video on it, and I'd have it out by later that day.
Yep.
And in the fashion of that, it's currently like 12 p.m. at night. We just got out of the theater. And I really wanted to talk about the movie, and Jane agreed to do it with me. Because, like, sort of is what it is. And I sort of have a checklist of stuff I want to talk about. And so, Jaden, just off rip, the spoilers for the movie, there's no way we're not going to talk about spoilers. So, yeah. What did you think of this movie? I know that you are a stark, I hate everything that Fujimoto made. I mean, we covered Fire Punch on the channel as well, and you were very much adamant, like, I hate this guy's work.
Yeah, so we all know I'm quite the cynic towards Chainsaw Man, but I think overall this movie was pretty good. Like, for the adapted the source material well.
Oh, extremely well. I mean,
one thing I think we should also note before we start is that the direction of the anime has changed since the first season.
Oh, for sure.
Because the first season took a much more cinematic approach and tried to make things more grounded and realistic, which wasn't very popular in Japan. So they tried to make it more exaggerated, more poppy, more over the top, which
I think this style is a whole lot better for it.
It fits the ridiculousness of the writing as well.
And also, a big thing with that in the art direction is this movie, as far as I could tell, used no CG for character models.
Yeah.
Which was a big thing in the original. I mean, I remember whenever I first made these videos, every single thumbnail had no CGI! Bad CGI! No CG! So it was a whole thing with the original there. And that was like a big shocking thing, because personally, I've seen this movie twice by this point. I've seen it in the dub, which was my first time watching it. I just saw it in the sub tonight. And I'm going to say, I think the dub was a little bit better. Oh, crucify me, like, oh boy. And I know I'm not the typical anime fan who's like, you've got to watch sub if you're not watching sub. Just the way it was written and recorded, I think there were a few issues in the dub where it sounded a little bit washed out in some places, especially in the beginning of the movie. But by the time all the music kicks in, like, you don't really notice it.
The production value of this movie was top notch. It was like worthy of movie material. It wasn't just an hour 30 long episode.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And I mean, going back to what you're saying earlier about the adaptation, they covered about, I don't have the exact chapters written down here, but it was pretty much beat for beat, like 12, 13, probably like more like 15 chapters. It pretty much gets us to the end of volume 6 of the original manga. Yeah, about a volume and a half. Okay. It's a little bit over that, if I'm not mistaken. But just the way it was all put together, I thought was really well. The sound design as well.
Sound design was really, really good. All the bomb sound effects sounded great. And all the animation too, like all the the fire of the bombs looked awesome too.
Yeah, especially like whenever Reze flicks her fingers and like you just see the bomb like traveling out like towards Denji.
The fuse as well, yeah.
Yeah, it was all like lit very well and very cinematic, and especially whenever we got into the fighting in the later half of the movie. Yeah. It was very big bombastic and like taking all of these like bright colors.
There's this fun shot where the colors change. It reminds me a lot of JoJo's. JoJo's like anime does that a lot.
It's also referencing the first manga volume itself and all the colors, which is just a really sort of neat thing to do there. And of course, with that, the movie plot itself, I mean, it's the same thing with Chainsaw Man. There were very few changed scenes. Really, I reread the manga after my first viewing of the movie and then paid attention again during my second viewing. And I can really only tell, there are of course added scenes because like you have to draw out it to make it a little bit bigger. And like the fight was done really, really well towards the end of the movie. But also, whenever Makima and Denji go to the movie theater in the manga, that you don't actually see the scene that they end up crying over. I thought that was sort of a nice little touch to sort of add it in there and see it. And also one of the weirder changes, right before like everything starts hitting the fan pretty much, right? Whenever Denji, Aki, the Angel Devil, and Beam are all sitting in the car, in the manga, Aki is driving, of course, in the front seat, and Denji is sitting in the front seat as well.
Yeah.
But here in the movie, they changed that to where Beam and Denji sit in the back seat, and the Angel Devil sits in the front seat.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a weird little note that I realized.
It seems like a negligible change, honestly.
I mean, it literally is, but whenever you think about it, it makes more sense for Denji to be in the back with Beam anyway. Like, it's just like a small little detail that you can really tell that the producers of this movie really cared about putting it together.
I definitely think that part was one of my better parts of the movie, because especially when the score kicked in, because the score for this movie is really good too.
Exactly, and especially during probably the most controversial scene of this movie is going to be the school scene, of course, where Denji and Reze go to the pool as well, right? A little bit of an aside here real quick. Whenever I first saw this movie, it was about me and about 6 other people in the theater. And right before the movie was getting ready to start, 2 more people walked in. It was a father and his 9-year-old child, which I understand going out and take your son to watch some anime movies or something, whatever. Like the My Hero Academia movie that came out last year, sure, take him to go see that, right? Hell, I'd even let him watch the Jujutsu Kaisen Colon Game stupidness that they're releasing later this year, which is one of the 2 anime episodes, and then the first that stuff's so stupid in my opinion. But either way, for the Chainsaw Man Reze movie, like, I don't know, I'm not a parent. Hopefully I can be a parent someday. That doesn't seem like a proper move to me, you know what I'm saying?
This movie establishes very early on it's not for kids, you know?
It establishes very early on, and like I was getting to the whole idea of...
And also, in order to see this movie, you gotta watch the first season, which already weeds out, the audience.
Yeah, very much, and especially the whole whenever you begin the movie and Denji's like, man, I want to make Makima my girlfriend, we're going on a date and all of that, and eventually moving into the whole idea of Reze is here in a meeting and eventually getting to the pool scene, which is the really big one. Jade even leaned over to me halfway during the movie and said, like, don't even have to bother covering it up if they don't draw it, which I found very funny because, I mean, that was a big part of this movie was how are they going to show Reze's nudity? And they did the same way that Fujimoto did it in the manga by just
is it the same
acting
way?
like it didn't exist, which sort of is what it is there. So on my note sheet here, we talked a little bit about the sub versus dub. Really, they're the same thing. I like the dub more personally just because there were more Americanized moments.
Yeah.
I was honestly really disappointed that in the sub, whenever Denji first hops on Beam the shark, and after he transforms, like, he uses all of his chainsaws and all of that, and there's that big sort of, like, still image where Denji in the dub, Denji yells, "Yeehaw, motherfuckers!" And I was really expecting it to be something like that in the sub, but instead it's like, that's how we do it, which is fun. Just the way the dub did it was so much more entertaining. And really, I don't think a 9-year-old needs to be hearing "Yeehaw, motherfuckers" in a theater, but it's not my decision there on that one.
I do think Beam was one of my better parts of the movie. He's such he's such a weird character, and they handle it perfectly.
They really do, and I remember whenever me and you read Fire Punch, there's a character who really acts like Beam in there, and I can definitely tell. I would call him Middle Finger of Justice Man at that point, whenever we read it. And it's just, like, very interesting to see how Beam's character sort of originated and seeing how it sort of affects that now. Another thing to mention is the intro and outro songs of the movie. The intro is called Iris Out, which I think is a very fun song. It also has a very distinct visual style as well.
Yeah, the intro for the movie was very Chainsaw Man-esque, and I mean that in the best way. As it's just out there. It feels like a fever dream when you're watching it. Yeah,
and of course that is by Kinshi Yonzu. I almost couldn't read my writing on the page here. And also Hikaru Utada.
Okay.
And Hikaru Utada also helps a lot more in the outro, which is called Jane Doe, which is pretty cool there. It's a little bit of like an intro song, like talking about Reze's character and all of that very stuff. A little other interesting thing about it is in the dub version, they hold the subtitles for the intro song, so you can see what it says. But whenever Reze starts singing Russian after she beats up...
Oh, they don't translate it?
They did not translate that in the dub version. Which, to be fair, I think I liked a whole lot more, because it sort of reminds me of the original manga, where you don't know what Reze is saying. It's just all of a sudden like, oh, she's speaking Russian. That's very interesting. And also, it just sort of adds more to the atmosphere of the moment instead of trying to understand the lyrics that she's singing.
Yeah, it just makes it creepy.
Because all things considered, the lyrics aren't that important.
Yeah.
Like, it sort of gets to the point, like, oh, she's a Jane Doe, she's a nobody who's coming here to find Dingy and all of that. But still a little bit of an interesting thing. But I definitely think that the intro song, Iris Out, is going to be remembered for a while. And also, is that song been released before?
I'm honestly not sure.
I'm not sure either.
One thing to note also that this movie, it released the full version of Maximum of the Hormones outro from the first season.
Yeah, Hatuari Nico Sinti, or 200 meters long centimeter blades, or however you say it. And honestly, that's one of my favorite scenes in a movie, is whenever it kicks in the moment, right as like Aki's like, damn it, the radio doesn't work. And he shoves it right in, and as soon as that happens, Jane's like, here it comes.
Oh yeah,
and,
I knew as soon as he was playing with the radio, it was going to have like a mic drop.
And then it just starts playing
Needle drop, that's what they're called.
Yeah, needle drop. And it's just a really fun moment because that's probably me and Jaden's favorite song from the original Chainsaw Man. I mean, we were driving around today just hanging out because we're both in, of course, our hometown, hanging out while we're not at college, to really just see this movie.
Yeah, pretty much.
But, I mean, we were listening to it earlier today, and it's just really fun to hold, like, Colin and all of that. Just very fun to also hear the end of that song after 3 whole years, which is a little bit of a crazy thing. With that, we went through the sound design to visual design, and then, like, the basic plot was, again, like, I don't think we really need to cover that.
It didn't cover, like, the plot itself is not that complex.
It's really not. I mean, it was even very shocking, because, like, I'm not a big movie watcher, and I really don't watch television shows, like, back-to-back, and sort of going through and watching the movie 2 days ago and then 2 days later seeing it again, this movie felt so quick, and I was honestly shocked by how little ground it really does cover. Because, I mean, it feels like Dingy and Maki Martin movies. Oh, he's hanging out with Reze. Oh, they go to the school. They go to the festival. Reze bites his tongue off, and then all of the battle begins. Yeah. And honestly, I remember when I was watching it the first time, like, the battle felt so long, but then it's just like, it felt so short watching it again, which I think is just a byproduct of watching it 2 times back to back like this. But I mean, I just thought I think the fight choreography was also really awesome.
It was paced very well, and like no part of the movie ever slowed down. But at the same time, also it covers just one character, and that's it. It's all of Reze's arc, and that's it.
Yeah, and I mean, it even ends, of course, which Jade even told me in the theater. Like, I did not remember that Makima just outright kills Reze. Spoilers, but yeah, I mean, and it's very interesting because, like, of course, I've read the manga so many times where I remember the major details, but I don't remember all of the fine details. And it was really fun to get to see all of those again.
And I read it one time 3 years ago, so it's like a brand new experience for me.
I know, and it was like whenever I recently went and watched a Demon Slayer movie, I read that manga once, like 3 years ago as well, and I forgot, honestly, most of the stuff that happened there. Like, I remembered, oh yeah, Tanjiro's going to beat Akaza. How is that going to happen? I don't remember. But I thought it was a very fun thing there. Along with that, we had the ending of the movie, of course, which was that big thing. And there was also an end scene to the movie as well. I was very happy that the Southeastern, right? Is that what the cinema's called? Or Southwestern or whatever?
Southeastern, yeah.
Yeah, whatever the cinema's called. Here, whenever I watched the sub tonight, they actually kept the lights off until the end scene was over. So whenever I watched it in a Regal cinema back up in my college town, as soon as, like, the movie, like, the credits are rolling, they lit the lights on, everybody left, and I was just in there sitting like, I think there should be more to this, right? And thankfully there is, because, like, Power does not make any debuts in this movie, which is honestly a little weird, being like, she's the main female lead, all things considered.
Yeah.
However, this movie does focus on Reze, so there's a very good female representation in this movie, so, like, I'm not going to knock it or anything. And with that, of course, there's the whole dynamic between Reze and Dingy, which I think was portrayed very well in this movie. And, of course, the secondary subplot, which was really about Aki and the Angel Devil.
Yeah.
Which I remember reading the manga. It's a very cool thing wherever, like, Aki reaches out his hand because he doesn't want to see anybody else die, even if it is a devil who he really detests. And the whole idea of, like, earlier in the movie, the Angel Devil being like, why didn't you tell that guy that you're going to be dying before that happens? He's like, I don't need to know, like, who cares? And, like, don't spread it anywhere. And then giving up a little bit of his life to kill her. Or not kill her, but to save her.
Yeah. I do think it is an interesting dynamic between those two characters. It is like a smaller piece of the overall plot, but I do think it adds something unique to it.
I mean, it's very interesting because, like, that's really, like, the B plot of this movie. I mean, there's nothing really else to, like, another one of my favorite parts.
The B plot lasts all of, like, 10 minutes.
Yeah, it really does. One of my favorite parts about this movie is really just how self-contained it is. Because, like, it starts off with Dingy being like, do I have a heart? And ending off like, I have a heart, so I can do this, like, come with me, Reze, we can run away together. And of course, like, all of the callbacks that happen to Finn, like the city mouse or the country mouse, and bring those back up through the movie and ending to arc off with him. And again, like, whenever Beam's like, oh, yes, Lord Chainsaw, you can swing around like Spider-Man with your chains. And then Denji not putting two and two together. Yeah. But then ending off the fight by tying up Reze, and also bring the whole idea of, you taught me how to swim. I gets us a very nice emotional core to it. We also went with two of our friends, and they both ended up walking out of the theater, and it seemed like they both really enjoyed it as well.
I think one thing I found interesting about the movie is that whenever they were killing off Reze, it didn't show Makima. It showed Makima looking like she was killing her, but then it switched to the Angel Devil actually doing it. But for a split second, it made you question, does this girl have powers? Because at this point, do we know yet she's the...
Spoilers for the entire series of Chainsaw Man here. Like, sorry, whatever. No, at this point, we don't know that she is the Control Devil.
Interesting, yeah, because it definitely makes it allude to, hey, this girl has some powers. But then it's like, fake out.
Oh, yeah. But, I mean, this movie also does a lot for Makima's character, showing to, like... Because at this point, we knew something is up with her in the original manga.
It's definitely showing more of her...
But it's definitely showing more like, oh, what's actually fully going on here with her? And, of course, that'll be revealed soon. There's going to be another really big thing with Chainsaw Man is how they're going to do production of the next season. Because, like, really, left in part 1, there are, like, 5 volumes worth of content left.
So about another season worth?
I think there's enough for 1 season in a movie. Because I feel like that's how they're going to do it.
Okay.
Because, of course, like I said, spoilers for Chainsaw Man, we next have the whole, like, all of these hunters from different areas are now hunting Denji. And, of course, that's a longer arc there, which I think can be really drawn out for a season. But then, of course, we have the Gun Devil, Aki, versus Denji. And I would, like I said earlier, I hate anime movies. But I would love to see that with the production style that this movie, the Reze movie, had. Because that's one of my favorite fights in anime and manga.
Yeah.
Mainly just because, like, I'm a big fan of Aki and just the way that Denji and Aki's characters relate to each other. And also just, like, I love the snowball fight, the metaphorical thing. And then just, like, they don't actually show us the fight. I just really like how that dynamic was portrayed. But then once that happens, it's really just like, oh, then Denji just goes through and kills Makima, and that's sort of the end of part 1 of Chainsaw Man.
Yep.
So, sort of is what it is there. But with all that being said, I think we covered most of this movie and what I want to talk about with it.
Overall, again, I'm not a big Chainsaw Man fan, but I think this adapted the material well.
I think this is going to be looked at as a great adaptation as far as a movie goes.
Yeah.
Because, like, Demon Slayer, for instance, the Mugen Train, they had to cut a lot of material out of that to make that movie what it was. And then, of course, they had to go and re-adaptate it and turn it into anime episodes. But this movie, I think it was done extremely well. I love the visuals, and the Reze arc was always my favorite out of the original Chainsaw Man. So to see it be given justice like this, I am extremely happy for Fujimoto and any fan of Chainsaw Man.
The movie does, it exudes Fujimoto's writing of just absolute absurdity.
Which, to be fair, we went and watched Chainsaw Man. That's what we were wanting out of it.
Yeah, of course it is,
So, but of course, we all want to know, you're not a big fan of Chainsaw Man. Out of a scale from 1 being the worst piece of trash you've ever read, aka Fire Punch, which we reviewed on this YouTube channel, or 10 out of 10, the best masterpiece out there, where would you rate this movie? No decimal places, just, you can give it a 0.5.
Okay, alright. So, as a production and as an adaptation of the source material, I'd give it a solid 8, 8.5. My personal enjoyment,
it's just like
6, 6.5.
6.5.
Yeah. No, I mean, it was fun. There was some good spectacle to it. I like the fight. The fight was really entertaining.
Yeah.
I mean, I think Chainsaw Man is my favorite of what Fujimoto has written. That's not a high bar, but
I also think that by the end of my life, I'm going to make sure that you have experienced all of Fujimoto's works.
Torture.
And I think so far you have read Fire Punch and Chainsaw Man. You've not read Chainsaw Man Part 2, which you've read Chainsaw Man, so I'll count it there. You haven't read any of his one-shots that have now been adapted into anime episodes, 23 minutes each. I may get you to watch those someday. But also, did you see Look Back with us last year?
No, but I read the manga for it.
You read Look Back, okay. And then did you ever read or watch Goodbye, or there's no anime of it yet, but there will be a movie at some point, I know, of Goodbye Eri?
No.
Okay, because Goodbye Eri, I think, is my favorite piece of media that Fujimoto's put out, and then Chainsaw Man's right behind it.
Okay.
But yeah, I would give this movie myself probably a 9.
Okay.
Because, like I said, I really enjoyed it, and I've enjoyed to go see it twice and then make a YouTube video.
You're the opinion to actually listen to as a fan of the material.
Yes, as a fan of material, this is a great movie. If you haven't seen it yet, I'm sorry for spoiling all of it in this video, but go watch the movie you haven't. If you have, well, damn, go see it a second time. Who knows? Here in a few months, or not a few months, but like a month before this movie gets out theaters, I may go see it a third time. Who really knows?
You do you, friend.
Yeah, you're not going to be with me, Jay.
Nope.
But again, thank you for being here with me tonight. It's very fun to get back in my Forerunner and talk about some anime and manga, which is something that we haven't done in a while.
Yeah,
and something that's not going to happen again anytime soon, I feel.
6 months, yeah.
But either way, thank you guys so much for watching. If you want to see our original reviews of Chainsaw Man, I'll have them linked in the description down below. It's still probably, they're definitely old and archaic. Probably that I have the background music turned up a little too high in them.
Yeah.
I mean, those were like, that's whenever I first started making YouTube
more amateurish videos.
Yeah, and I wrapped Jaden into doing them with me. But those will be linked down below, even though I still think they're a great watch just for the fact of me and Jade having fun. Just
you get to hear me be a hater for 20 minutes every episode.
I mean, there was even one episode where my friend Jade here does a family cookout on December 23rd, and we literally reviewed an episode of Chainsaw Man in the freezing cold morning before that happened.
It was like 28 degrees out, yeah.
And we were bundled up here, and then my phone corrupted, and that episode got like turned into 24 30-second chunks I had to puzzle piece together.
Yeah.
But we have some good memories talking about Chainsaw Man, and this is a good movie. You guys should go check it out. And again, Jaden, thanks for being here with me.
Yeah, appreciate you dragging me along.
Yeah, of course.
Could have just bought the manga.
Well, I have the manga. You could have read it, but I know you would refuse to because Fujimoto sucks in your opinion.
Yeah.
Well, with all that being said, do you have anything else to say, Jaden?
Nah, I don't think so. Watch Chainsaw Man if you like it.
Sure.
If you don't, go watch it with your friends anyways and make review videos.
And you know what? Whenever season 3 or another movie comes out,
I'll be back.
That'll be the one thing that I'll make sure
I gotta finish this freaking series, man.
Well, with that, this will be Glowplasma and Jaden signing out.
See ya.